of our transformations, we're going to look at enlargement. This is the first part of enlargement because there's 4 separate enlargement videos to put up. First one is about enlarging with a positive integer scale factor, so 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. We will look on other videos at what happens if it's a fraction or a decimal, what happens if it's negative, what happens if it's negative and a fraction, which are the hardest ones. But we'll start with these enlargements. Key concepts here with enlargements generally is what stays the same is the shape. What changes is the size and the location. There will be a bigger or smaller version somewhere else on the page. The other thing that does stay the same when you do this though is the orientation. However, not always. So when you see some later videos on this, you will notice the orientation looks like it has changed. So, key things here, if a shape stays the same shape but its size changes, it's no longer a congruent shape. It would be a similar shape. So those are the key concepts. Let's look at how this works. In terms of performing an enlargement, you get given a scale factor, 3. And if you drew this shape exactly 3 times bigger anywhere on this grid, you would get a mark in an exam. So if you forget all of this and you're sat in an exam, just do it 3 times bigger anywhere and you'll get the mark. But let's go for 2 marks on this. Let's try and also use the centre. Negative 8, 7 is the centre of enlargement. That's here. The best way to get the correct location for this, look at one point, for example this point here, and think of vectors. How do I get from the centre to that point? 3 across, 1 up. That's how I do it. Now the scale factor is 3, so if you do that 3 times over, once, twice, 3 times, this tells you the new position of this vertex here. And if you do it once, you've got the correct location. Now you just need to draw it, in this case, 3 times bigger. So across the top of the T-shape was 3, 3 times bigger is 3, 6, 9. Down the shape side of this T-shape is 1, 1, 2, 3. Across here was 1, 3 times bigger, 1, 2, 3. Down the stem of this T-shape, 1, 2, 3. 3 times bigger is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Across the bottom of the shape is 1 across, 3 times bigger is 3 across. Back up we come to the same level as this side here. Up we come. Then we come across level to this side here. And then finally we join up the last side. There is our shape. Of course you would be using a ruler and a pencil for this in your exam, but we've drawn the new shape. It is 3 times bigger and it is in the correct location. 2 marks. On to the final skill here, which is describing. To fully describe an enlargement, firstly we're looking here at how P goes on to Q. So from P up to Q. If you recognise it's an enlargement, the word enlargement will earn you 1 mark in the exam. If you look at it, it was 1 across and now it's 2 across. That's a scale factor of 2. And if you say the scale factor is 2, that's a 2nd mark in the exam. The final one is about the centre. Like we saw, it needs to have a centre of enlargement. There's a very nice technique that we can use here. Just need a very sharp pencil and a ruler. And what happens is this. If you take a point on the enlarged shape and trace it back through the original, like this, and then you take a new vertex on the enlargement, trace it back through the corresponding one here, what happens is this. You do that for the 3rd vertex here, trace it back through, what happens is this. And you will notice if you trace all 3 from the enlargement through the original shape, and back, they will all cross over at one point here. This point is the centre of enlargement. And as a coordinate, it's 1 across, 3 up. So as a coordinate, 1, 3. That means you've earned all 3 marks in that describing exam question. 1 for the word enlargement, 1 for the scale factor, and the final mark, which will matter for us most, is finding that centre by tracing back 3.